I've been thinking about this idea for a hot minute about a tech-based creator versus a tool-based games creator. I just made that up, so I'll have to explain it to you. Welcome back! You are watching the ADHD Game Dev channel. I'm Brandon, you're you. I'm so glad to have you here. Let's talk about this. There are broadly two major disciplines when it comes to creating video games. It's this world of creating that is different from so many other fields of creating. It has more in common with, I think, filmmaking than anything else, because you can't just pick up a paintbrush and paint a video game. You need both sides of this brain, the left brain, right brain concept, high tech versus high art. Okay, when I talk about tech-based creating versus tool-based creating, I mean sometimes people are very heavy into the IT, the tech, these systems. They want to mess with things. They want to make things automatically create. They want to do procedural generation. They want to do automation. They want to see if they can create an automatic voxel world with cool AI agents running around and, you know, little characters and NPCs doing things automatically. And they get really excited when they can hit a button and things just happen on screen. Their shader does cool magic tricks. And or they'll sit there and optimize the heck out of it to get the FPS rocking as high as possible, even though it's running a lot. They get excited about that. Very techy, very techy. They're the kind of people who will say, you don't need a game engine at all. Why don't you just write your own? And that sounds totally valid to them. Okay. The other side of people were like, okay, deer in headlights kind of look, because we're going to rely really heavily on a game engine as a tool to create what we had in our minds. It's a tool to express our creative vision. Tiny the Last Wayfinder is available to wishlist on Steam. I'm working on it right now. Hey, shameless plug. And it is a lot more of that kind of a side of the away from the tech and more into the tool kind of world, because when I was working in Game Maker, I was working at it more of a tech side, because I would make my last Game Maker game, Dungeon-esque, was a lot of fun because I was having fun with procedural systems and getting automated dungeons to happen. And if I messed with all the numbers and the data, I could make islands, or I could make big rooms and small rooms and chambers and hallways, or I could figure out ways to connect them and to make more interesting shapes. And then it would just say, oh, well, let me spawn in enemies, let me spawn in treasure chests, and figuring out how can I make treasure chests randomize. And I love to create a game that plays back. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I love making these systems where I, the creator, don't know exactly what's going to happen next. I don't know every story beat. That's fun for me, and I love that techie side of it. But I recognize that my mind just doesn't work in the way of being really good at writing code and really excited about systems. I like the end result and I like fiddling around with them, but I found that I am more of a tool-based developer, that I'm not going to just write my own engine. I'm not just going to open up, I don't know what you even do. Do you open up Notepad and just start writing C# in it? I literally have no idea how you compile that. But some people get really excited about that, and it's not me. It's not me. And I want to tell you that it doesn't matter which side of that equation you come down on, that there is validity to each side and each approach, that video games are so unique and that you need both halves. Okay? And whether you are doing that as a solo developer and you're having to bring both disciplines together in your own mind, in your own computer, in your own workspace in front of yourself, that you're being very tool-based and very tech-based and you're making it all together into one artistic expression, or you're collaborating with other people and bringing something to the table that they lack. I found that the more I focused on getting the tech to work and I was writing code and making neat things happen, I started to lose perspective on the big picture about whether there was a video game there and whether the game was any fun or not. And it would really take another viewpoint, maybe another outside party to look at it and say, well, why don't you do X, Y, Z? And that push is what happens in a team of people, where somebody will come along with a push that you probably don't want to hear, you probably are not thrilled about, because it's going to rock your world and make too much trouble. And when somebody comes into a game and says, well, this is not fun because you need to have a whole other system that you didn't think of, or a side quest that you didn't think of, or there needs to be a through line of stories and characters that you didn't think of because you were so down into the weeds making the procedural generation work that you didn't bother adding in memorable NPCs and a compelling story. And oh, that's not your world at all, is it? And then on the other side of it, we get to where we're over here making video games really quick, and we wind up with all this spaghetti code that we didn't do a very good job with, and it makes it harder to move forward, and we wind up with roadblocks and problems and troubleshooting that somebody who'd be better at coding and doing a better infrastructure would probably have a click, click, click button to try to help themselves along and to do things faster and more efficiently. So video games wind up with a tech platform in computers that is used as a foundation for an artistic expression. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? We have got a technical foundation that requires really solid engineering, but at the end of the day, it is used to express art. That characters and stories and movements and music and lights and cameras and all of this beautiful moments and memorable, emotional, evocative experiences that we can have are happening on a tech-based platform. So it is both sides coming together, and I would encourage you so much to recognize who you are as a dev. Who you are as a dev. The more I got into techie kind of a development side, the more I recognize that I can only go so far with that. I've got enough to be able to pull off making a video game, but it's not really my heart. That's not what really gets me excited. You could tell I would get excited that things do work, and I love the automatic generation of islands and mazes. It's just mesmerizing to me. But that's about it. That's about it. I don't get excited about a new shader. I don't get excited about FPS counts. I mean, I want it to be good, but I'll just smash rocks together over here, and I joke around about that a lot to say that I don't know what I'm doing is my usual joke, because I only go so far on one side and the other. I am not a person who's going to sit there and make a game that is art, hand-drawn, customized everything. And I'm not the kind of person who's going to sit there and code every single line until it's absolutely optimized. I'm just going to get stuff done and move on. I'm going to push through. I'm much more of a games director, and that's the shift that has happened because of my tools. If you watch my video about Godot changed the way I make games. Because I am not able to lean on that tech side of my brain as much, because I am not as good at writing in GDScript as I was in writing GML, and my C# skills are even worse. And that is okay. You can only do what you can do. And I would encourage you to not use that as a cop-out and to say, I'm not going to learn the other side, but to manage your own expectations and to lean on your own strengths. If you're not great at art, I saw a great video. It was from Nonsensical 2D. If you watch his channel, he's great. He said it is better to have really bad art that is consistent than to be inconsistent and to try your best to put together things that you can't manage. It would be better to have something that is just rubbish art, but at least it's consistent, and you can have a final game that is appealing. Collectively, your bad art can have a collective appeal. It's amazing. And for those of you who are more like me, don't wimp out and say, well, I just don't know code. Do your best and try to learn and try to understand it. Even if you see somebody online saying, here's the code that'll get what you want, don't just copy paste and see if it works. Read it and do your best to understand it. So I think that putting in the work and trying to get better on the sides that you're weaker at is it can only help you. And if you need to, try to find a way to collaborate with others. That's my next goal. I want to figure out how we can create systems to where we synergize together and we collaborate together, and we're all bringing something to the table, and we're all people who could create a video game completely on our own, but we're stronger together. That's where my brain is going right now. But anyway, I hope this has been helpful to you. I want this to be a conversation starter. Are you a techie person, or are you more of just using a tool to get your ideas out there? Are you more artsy? What's your strong suit, and what are you weak at? So let me know in the comments. I hope that you will have a great end of year. I hope that you will be awesome today. Bye, everybody.